It's Jason Abraham, the Shadow Teacher. And in earlier videos, you've heard me speak of the sinister reptilian agenda. And I talked about this in fantastical terms. And I'm not saying that's not true. When we think multi-dimensionally, you have to look at a perspective from many different angles. But today I'm going to talk about that same perspective from the point of modern science and also from the ancient world. So the oldest part of our brain, the amygdala, the brainstem, it is the part of our brain that is all about survival. It's about staying alive and procreating, fighting, freezing, fleeing, and fucking. And it's also known as the reptilian brain. And whenever this old program is activated through a fear or a lust response, it wants to take over in the driver's seat. And a human being which has a spiritual higher nature can easily be hijacked by the programs of the reptilian brain. Some spiritual practices call this the domain of the devil as well, where the lower nature is in the driver's seat over the higher nature. And the spiritual practices, the energetic practices, are all about building an awareness and connection with the higher nature. And ultimately, for a human to thrive in its fullest potential, the ideal is for the higher to lead the lower, to be in harmony with the lower, not to destroy the lower, but to lead the lower, not the other way around. Not when the lower is in charge, the human's just not even aware of anything that is higher. And again, fear is how you spike. Fear and lust are the two main ways to spike and to really put a spark in that reptilian brain. Some call it the spirit of Typhon, the spirit of the crocodile. And again, the images of the ancient world is for the dove to rise over the crocodile, or the falcon to rise over the crocodile. Horus over Typhon from the ancient Egyptian polytheistic spiritual beliefs. And you also see this in Christianity, like the spirit of the dove is associated with Christ as well. And I'm not saying it's all the same. My spirituality is from mystical Christianity, and I believe that there's something special about that. There's something special about freedom that comes from that. But you see some of the same similarities in the pagan beliefs. But think about this modern world. What does the news media do? What does it want to do? It wants to, what are the narratives always about in the mainstream media? They are about fear, or the other part of that, it's pleasure seeking. So this reptilian brain seeks pleasure, comfort, pleasure. That's the same type of thing. Again, that drive, again, the survival, the fighting, fleeing, and fucking is first, and then the next bit of that is comfort and pleasure, and that is all our corporate media programs. And so if your behavior, if part of your habit is to tune in to any kind of corporate media, whether it be the news or just any sort of programming, and you're looking at it without a critical eye, if you're not discerning what you're taking in, that is going into your programming, and that is programming your mind and is infiltrating your consciousness. And again, this reptilian agenda, the idea is that this consciousness that wants to control you can do so very easily if you are in this fight, flee, fuck, pleasure-seeking consciousness and you don't see anything beyond that. And again, I don't see, just if you just look objectively at the content of what corporate media puts out, just like look at the actual messages. Just listen to the words and what is the story being told. Take away whether it's true or not, just take any kind of personal investment out of it. Just look at the story being told and you will see that I am right. This is not something you can even argue. This is what is being said. This is how these platforms are used. So again, I'm coming from the path of higher over lower, the dove over the crocodile. So the cure to that is you have to have something that always connects you with your higher nature. And even when you're getting triggered, when you're going into the shadow, again, the shadow work is all about healing the programs of the reptilian brain, of the amygdala. That's where our shadow lives. And when those programs come out and control us, this is the part of our consciousness and our old part of our brain and in our body. When they show up, our work as light workers is to heal those programs and to reclaim our sovereignty, the higher over the lower. And there are many techniques and methods of doing that, but ultimately it's the dedication and awareness to this work, and then the discipline to stay on the right path. Not to do a million things, not to continue to jump for seeking stimulation and pleasure, but to stay on the right path for you that you've been initiated into. With that being said, I'm going to end this video. I'm the shadow teacher, Jason Abraham, and I will see you on the other side. Be well, my friends.